Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Jeff Newton. It looks like ISIS shot and apparently killed another person in Minneapolis, St. Paul region. I'm just getting details of it now, slowly, like I guess the rest of you are. This is all I have to say about it at this point because I haven't heard any of the details come out. If you're a protester in Minneapolis, St. Paul, here's my advice to you as a guy who covered war for 30 years. I'm a former producer at 60 Minutes, former senior producer at Vice on HBO, former senior producer at National Geographic Television. Like I said, I covered war for almost 30 years as a war journalist, mostly for television as a 60 Minutes producer for 15 of those years. And prior to that, I was a print journalist. I covered my first conflict when I was 24 years old, the Bosnian Civil War in 1993-94. Here's how you have to deal with these people. First of all, you have to understand they don't care. They're going to shoot people. They believe they have immunity because J.D. Vance said so. And J.D. Vance walked it back the other day, saying that if there's a crime committed, that's different. But they're not investigating in any real sense the guy who shot Renee Good. They're just not. And they're not going to. It's going to have to be a state crimes deal. The state is going to have to charge these people with crimes for any number of things. It could range something as simply as assault, or it could be manslaughter for some of these types of situations. There could be murder, first, second, or third degree. Third degree is probably not going to happen, but they're definitely shooting people and they don't really care. What I noticed about a lot of this is these guys are not bad shots. They've been trained. They're the guys who spent the last fucking 20 years on the range practicing how to shoot. You'd be much safer protesting them at the range where there's a range officer who can stop them from turning their weapon on you. Because once they get their weapon pulled, they're all about hitting that little target that they've been shooting at for years. They don't have the discipline not to. This incident was certainly an example of that, and so was the last incident with Renee Good. They don't seem to have a deadly force training that they should have to not kill people. And Donald Trump, if it's not a federal charge, if it's a state charge, that's the only way it's going to go down. If it's a federal charge, it's not going to happen. Pam Bondi's not going to charge these people with federal crimes. And even if they were charged with federal crimes later, because murder there's no statute on that of limitations, Trump is going to pardon these people anyways before he leaves office. So just get that in your skull. He's protecting them because they're protecting him. That's his private army. Get it through your heads. This is not immigration enforcement. This is thuggery, and they're creating a private army for themselves so that potentially he could stay in power or do whatever he wants to democratically held states. That's what this is about. The immigration numbers under Obama and Biden, they were deporting plenty of people. And in fact, I've had Republicans come on my page and tell me, what about when they were deporting all these people under Obama and Biden? Where were you guys then? Were they really doing this under Biden and Obama? You know better. It's a disingenuous argument using statistics to create racist talking points. They were not tackling people and pulling them out of their cars. They were not beating the shit out of people on the streets. They weren't pepper spraying everybody who protested because there was nobody protesting because they were going through the court process lawfully. And when somebody didn't make it through the court process, they deported them. That's how the process is supposed to work. So this is not about legal process and having judges throw people out because they've missed their appointments or whatever, or they've committed a crime and they need to be deported. This is about finding people that are not the same color skin as them and getting rid of them. They're not getting rid of any South African white guys. They're not getting rid of a lot of Europeans. These are brown people largely. They're stopping them by racially profiling them because of the color of their skin and their accents, man. This isn't about deportation of criminals. They're tackling people. They're detaining people at bus stops with their children. It's never been about getting rid of the worst criminals. So you have to get through that your head. But here's the most important thing. I'm going to tell you how to survive. Okay? When they come at you, put your fucking arms in the air and loudly proclaim, I'm unarmed. Don't shoot me. I'm unarmed. Don't shoot me. and scream it as loud as you can for every fucking camera around you to see. And then tell people, please videotape it so they don't shoot me. That will put them on notice that they have to be more careful before they shoot you. Do not carry a weapon at all. These guys are going to say, oh, this guy was carrying a weapon or whatever. He had a weapon. I don't know if he did or didn't. Don't do it. Don't waste your time with it. People always used to say to me, when you're in war zones traveling without the military, weren't you scared? Did you carry a weapon? 1, no, we never carried weapons. It's against the Geneva Convention for journalists to carry weapons. You'll never see me carrying a weapon. 2, what do you think you're going to do if you have a weapon? If I came upon an Afghan checkpoint with the Taliban and I had a gun and they saw it, they would just think I'm a spy anyways. And that would be the end of the road. You're not going to overwhelm them at a checkpoint when there's 15 of them with AKs and you and your bodyguard or whatever each of you have a 9mm. It's stupid. No, don't carry a weapon. They have overwhelming force on you. There's no fucking way you'll win that battle. Throw your fucking arms up. Tell them, please don't shoot me. I'm unarmed. And keep repeating that. When you're filming them, stay the fuck away from them. If they tell you to move back, don't fucking scream at them and tell you you have a First Amendment right. Say, listen, I'm exercising my First Amendment right, but out of respect for what you're doing here today, I'm going to back up. And then when they say you can't film, say, I have a First Amendment right to film. I'm going to back up, but I have a right to film. And by the way, you shouldn't be bothered by that, sir, because whatever I film, if you're doing it lawfully, there's no reason for you to be feeling in danger. This camera is not going to hurt you. It's not a weapon. If you're doing everything lawfully, this camera will protect you as well as me. I'm doing this to protect both of us. Okay? Make the argument to them. If they scream and swat at your camera, it's a phone. Just pick it up and walk backwards. Don't get in a fucking argument with them. They want that. They want you to escalate because they don't want to deal with you. When you escalate, they can do all sorts of shit to you, whether you're an American or not. These people are thugs, okay? These are not like well-trained special operations troops, the kinds I spent time with in war zones. These aren't even well-trained conventional troops. I spent a lot of my career with guys in the 82nd Airborne, right? I spent a lot of my time with 101st Airborne Division, 10th Mountain Division, any myriad of special operations teams, right down to SEAL teams. Those guys have weapons discipline. These guys shoot first. And then J.D. Vance says, you have total immunity. Did I really say that? Maybe I didn't mean that. But they don't have total immunity, by the way. There's no such fucking thing as total immunity when you're committing a crime. You need to also put pressure on your police department and your state prosecutors to charge these people. If you don't, bad news. Because they're just going to get pardoned. The FBI is not going to investigate this shit. Pam Bondi's not going to investigate this shit. Tom Homan's not going to investigate this shit. Kristi Noem's not going to investigate this shit. She shot a fucking dog and was never charged. How about cruelty to animals? You think that's a fucking charge? Of course it is. These people love shooting people, and the people above them are going to support that. I'm sorry, but it's true. De-escalate as best you can. You want to blow whistles in their ears all day long and let people know they're there, that's fine. But when they tell you to move, move, and listen to their instructions. They are unhinged. These are the people who couldn't make it in law enforcement. These are the people who spent all their time on ranges shooting at targets. They'd be desensitized themselves to killing. Because it just goes ping when they pull their trigger. And when they shoot somebody, like the guy who shot Renee Good, fucking bitch. That's what he said. Fucking bitch. She's fucking dead and he's fucking bitch. Fucking bitch. These people have no shame. Okay? They train to kill. Respect that. They have weapons. Don't play with that. Keep your hands out of your pockets and don't fight them when they try to take you to the ground. Comply. Just comply. Let people film them knocking you around. But if you fight back, you're going to catch a charge. They're gonna arrest you for any myriad of charges. Assault on a federal agent. They're going to charge you with resisting arrest. Everything. And then you're spending all your fucking money in court trying to defend that shit, and they've got video of you taken by other people of you resisting. Don't resist. Say, I'm not resisting. Please don't shoot me. I'm unarmed. I'm not resisting. I'm not going to resist you. Officer, be very polite when it gets to that. Okay? I'm just telling you how to save your fucking life. From a person who spent a lot of time with people around guns in war zones. These guys are, remember, a lot of these guys are Proud Boys. They're all these white nationalists, okay? They have no training beyond the range. And they're trigger happy. And they're scared because they're surrounded by people a lot. And they don't know how to handle that fear. Really dangerous people. A lot of them also are former infantry guys. In other words, soldiers that were on the battlefield doing one job, going after targets, securing areas, doing that kind of stuff. They weren't like the soldiers who are like doctors or lawyers or doing supply. These are guys who are infantry guys. And when they got out of the military, some of them went to school and some of them couldn't find a fucking job because their whole life, a lot of them, whether they were in 5 years or 20 years, when they got out, their background was, what's on your resume? Oh, I was an infantryman. So they're looking for jobs like this to have. And they've been trained to be aggressive and to protect the guys around them, first and foremost. So they're going in hard with force, with lots of people around them. And it's confusing, and they love that confusion. Because when things happen and guns go off, like in this incident, it's going to be very hard to dissect it because there's fucking 15 people around this guy, and they're all on top of him. And he's fighting back a little bit because he's, getting his ass kicked. You got to just cover yourself and just don't resist. And they don't care whether you're a male or a female at all. These guys are jacked up on adrenaline all day long. They don't have the discipline of like a special operations team. They don't have the discipline of a local police officer. Okay? That's all I can say. I know it's 12 minutes long, but please go find us on Substack. Like, follow, and share. Comment. I hope you know what you're talking about. I have 30 years of working in war zones. I can tell you that, this is starting to become a war zone. 100%. They're encouraging a civil conflict so they can create martial law so they don't have to have fucking elections. These are bad people. I'm sorry. They're going to call you domestic terrorists. They can't do that if you're throwing your arms in the air saying, hey, I'm not resisting. Please don't shoot me. I'm just protesting. Okay? Like, follow, and share.